the contents of this bag right here cost me on average £12 a club. And the best bit is, they're absolute powerhouses. Guys, how you doing? Welcome back to a brand new video. Simon down here at Lower Hennick driving range in the simulator. We've got a new set of clubs that we've just recently picked up today, which I want to film with, talk about, because we've got some powerful clubs here, and for the price that I've just paid for this entire bag, it's going to give you that forgiveness and power and distance and all the other stuff that you'd hear, all the newer stuff being talked about does. But I've paid on average £12 a club. And obviously some of the clubs are more expensive than others, but when you break it down and you think, well, roughly £10 a stick, driver, putter, irons, you just can't go wrong. Regardless of, okay, maybe if it's older, we're talking 20 years ago, but if it's within 10 years and people always, is this a good deal? If it's got a grip, a shaft and a head, and you've paid roughly £10 for that club, you're not that far off. Because at that price range, even if it's 20% less effective than the newer stuff, it's nearly 20 times cheaper than what it would cost to have that newer stuff. If you like this video, leave it a like. Subscribe if you're new. Let's talk about these. So I will show you the listing on the right hand side here. I actually did a bit of bargaining for this. This is a part of the flipping series. So our total at the moment is £450. We've still got those Nike irons for sale, as well as the wedges. So hopefully they will sell this weekend. But I'm not in any rush. I don't want to get rid of them. As I say, we've got £450, which still means that we can do stuff like this. And I think this stuff will move quite quickly. And after this is sold and the Nike stuff, we're getting close to that £1,000 mark, which means that we need to start buying some new 2022 stuff, or even recent 2021 stuff. So we need to start doing some polls. What driver we're going to have at the top? Are we going to have a G425, or are we going to have a Stealth? What putter are we going to have at the bottom? We're going to have a Spider or an Odyssey, whatever it might be. So we need to start building the bag now. The budget's definitely getting there, but these kind of deals definitely help. As I say, with the price, he came back with the £250 for the lot. I said, would he be interested in 220? And I got this entire bag, including a trolley and some balls and bits and bobs. So for £220, I mean, for the bag and the trolley, let's say I'm going to get £50 for the pair of them. A low estimate. I mean, that's quite a low estimate, but £50, which means that for the rest of these 14 clubs in the bag, we are talking £12 a stick. And some gear in here that is definitely worth a bit more money. I think after all said and done, posted, labelled, sent out on eBay after fees, we're probably going to get about £500 for the lot. Therefore, we're doubling our money, which is great, and again, going to add to the flipping series total. But the main topic that I want to talk about is this price versus power. This, arguably, in my eyes, is the most powerful driver out on the market. Ball speed doesn't change, but the way it can maneuver that spin rate, keep the spin down, keep the launch up, this thing was an absolute monster that came out and pretty much revolutionized a lot of TaylorMade drivers, and they do that, and that's why I'm quite impressed with the carbon side of the face. I don't think it's necessarily going to be this year that we're going to see big gains, but sometimes they do something that all of a sudden blows everything else in the water and does change the game for the better, and this was definitely one of them. I think a lot of people were skeptical, so was I, as it is very different, especially with the adjustable weighting, and this didn't really do much, but it just came together, and that's an absolute powerhouse. If you can pick one of these up for 70 to 80 pounds, you will hit some of the longest drives you've ever hit. Your misses will also be some of the biggest misses of your life, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of people arguing that in the comment section. Not only that, these burner plus irons. I mean, if you look at this head design and you look at an M2 or an M4, M6 or Sim Max, I mean, let's be honest, not much has changed. We've got heavy weight behind the ball. We've got very big soles. These things are designed to be forgiving, high launching and de-lofted. And I'm gonna hit a few of these. We're going to hit the 7 iron, we'll look at the degree of loft, and obviously compare, look at the drive, how far the drive goes, and at £10 a stick, how much are we actually losing in terms of yardages? I can guarantee you, because obviously my irons at the moment are more lofted and got stiffer shafts, that this 7 iron will go further. But do I necessarily want that in my game? No. Would a beginner golfer want the help and the distance? Of course. And you've got to tailor your bag to your golf game, and knowing the difference between, let's say, a cavity back iron and a blade, or let's say a low spinning driver with adjustable weighting, or a forgiving driver with the weighting at the back, such as a Ping G400 Max. The reason that I love my job and every day is a learning day is because I learn stuff that is new. This right here, before I show you guys exactly what the loft is, the majority of you would probably say around 30 degrees or less compared to the cavity back irons we see nowadays. For example, I even did a video on the T200, or was it T100, a week or so ago, and the loft on that was around 30 degrees for the 7-iron, and it didn't look as chunky as this. Even the P790 is 30.5 degrees, and that's deemed more of like a player iron. Even though it's cavity back, it's more like sleek and shiny and everything else. This right here is 32 degrees loft, which is astonishing, which goes to show realistically how de-lofted are cavity back irons. And this would have been strong back in the day when this came out, and it's probably about 11 years old now. The fact that this right here is probably the same loft as, let's say, a more cavity back MB iron. A traditional loft, let's say, a lot of you will be going, Simon, my 7-iron's 35 degrees, and let's say 36 degrees if you were to go back 20 odd years ago. Now, they do have to de-loft them. They're not just de-lofting them for the sake of gaining distance, because they're able to give more forgiveness and put denser materials into the head. They have to de-loft it, otherwise you just balloon everything. So they're not just de-lofting for the sake of de-lofting. There is a science to it. But as you can see here, a 7-iron used to be, as a cavity back standard, 32 degrees. So I'm quite interested to see exactly how far this goes. Right, 3 quick shots there with the Burner Plus iron, and we were getting roughly about 180 yards, 173, obviously warming up, first few swings of the day, 183, 188, 88, definitely caught the last one. I had to delete an anomaly in there because it didn't quite read it. But I mean, that's decent distance for a 10-pound iron, and that's what I'm kind of saying. Now, obviously my swing is relatively fast. Ignore that because I haven't put the stickers on. I don't want to waste Ian's stickers on here for club data of different irons, especially 10 pounds irons. The stickers are going to be worth more. But ball speed, I mean, is pretty up there for a 7-iron. Interestingly though, we do have a demo Sim 2 Max iron here. Graphite shaft, so it's not unfortunately going to be that fair of a test. But this right here is standing at the same length as the Burner Plus, and that Sim 2 is lofted at 28.5. So I'm going to try and put 3 similar swings on it, for example, and see what kind of distances we're getting. Automatically, we have seen a difference in distance. There's no question about that. And again, sorry, obviously we can't measure club data to give us obviously a definite answer whether the ball speed is increasing or is it just me swinging it faster. I will hit another 7-iron. Actually, I'll try and hit the 7-iron as hard as I possibly can. But you can see the difference. But is that purely down to loft? Because if I grab the 6-iron, or even the 5-iron out the Burner Plus at the same loft of these, will I then be getting 200 yards out of it? And I probably could guarantee you that I could. Interesting thing, I mean, ball speed was clearly higher. Again, we can't measure club data. He's even saying that I'm swinging the club slower, but it doesn't measure it perfectly because it hasn't got those magnetic stickers on them. Smash factor, obviously a lot better. I was obviously middling them. However, with that all being said, and obviously I'll hit the 7-iron again and try and absolutely nuke it, and maybe a 6-iron as well, and absolutely nuke it. These here were my first swings of the day with a 10-pound club. 10 miles an hour fast, 10 miles an hour in terms of carry distance. And do I really want a 7-iron doing 206 yards? No. And in terms of ball speed, 4 miles an hour, over 135 miles an hour anyway. That's 130 pounds extra to gain 4 of those little bad boys. I literally love doing these tests, and I really can't wait to do more of these over the coming years when we get the studio and the second-hand swing in full flow. But interestingly, as we go back to this, now I'm not going to blow smoke up your arse here. The Sim 2, by far easier to hit. Like those 2 7-irons, as you can see there, for example, again, I've tried to swing it faster, and again, we're getting 180, 184. But then the 6-iron, which is 28 degrees, so let's say half a degree stronger than the Sim 2. Again, we got a ball speed of 142, which we didn't achieve a minute ago with the Sim Max 2. There's no question though that the Sim Max was lighter, looked smaller from address, and was giving you the same results. So I'm not going to tell you that there isn't better improvements in the newer irons. Now, from year to year, 2 years, 3 years, negligible. And realistically, even over this time span, we're talking 10 to 12 years here, and 130 pounds difference, you can see how fine the margins are. But there are still margins. And realistically, if I had to go and play with a set of clubs, and obviously the Sim 2 Max had a graphite shaft in it, which definitely is an advantage, and maybe if I had a graphite shaft in this, again, I might get a tiny bit more clubhead speed. But that being said, overall, the Sim Max 2, much easier. But overall, the Sim Max 2, slightly easier to hit, slightly better to look at, and from address, not as chunky. But that is £130 a club to have that kind of advantage. And you can see how similar the numbers are on the screen there. There's only one driver in my life that I would comfortably take to a long drive contest, knowing that it can spin it as low as the majority of long drives. And the thing's lofted up and down. I haven't even lofted it down. That's at 10.5 degrees. It's just the way I don't know how it happens. I don't know the way it works. Maybe it's a placebo effect. Maybe it's just the way I see it. But so many people struggle to get this club in the air because it's so low spinning. I mean, that is just ludicrous, especially with the launch angle as well. But it came so dead on the face. It's kind of like this high toe. You hit it high toe there, for example. This knuckleball, absolute gloriness comes out. That's not even a word, but gloriness is the only way I can describe it. And you just watch this ball flight. It's just a knuckleball out of nowhere, carrying 314, going 350 on a 166 ball speed. That's the funniest thing. Like, it's not even that fast of a ball speed, and it just goes a mile. Now, if you were to slightly open, I mean, that's a push there. So, I mean, that's not even online. I mean, realistically, that's probably about 40 yards offline, but it's so far over there, you're on another fairway with a flick into the green. So it's not forgiving, but it's an absolute monster. I mean, the next one I actually hit out the middle, and we did get some kind of spin rate. So even there, you can see spin rate 166, virtually the same. Spin rate actually got increased there, and then obviously a 307. But it's just a phenomenal. It's more of a phenomenon rather than anything else. And for like £80, you're gonna hit some of the longest shots ever, and I don't care what face it's made out of. Nice little interesting video. I'll keep you up to date exactly for what all this goes for. But with the 450 that we got in the bank, 200 odd pounds with the Nike and Mizuno wedges, and then this added on top, we're not going to realistically be far away. Obviously we have to take 200 away from the total, but let's top it up. We're going to be close to £800, and obviously putting some big ticket items into the bag and then keeping them there. So do we have a driving iron or do we have a hybrid? What kind of irons are we going for? How many wedges? What putter are we putting in the bag? I probably should include the bag as well into it. So I'm quite excited. Obviously the £2,000 challenge is somewhat coming to a close, and it's now the time where we're looking for great deals to actually put in the bag itself for everyone. This bag has to be designed for the majority of golfers, whether you're a complete beginner or let's say a veteran player, because whoever wins it, I obviously want them to be able to use it to full effect. Guys, if you like this video, leave it a like, subscribe if you're new. Powerhouses, awesome golf clubs, £10 each, £12 each, but £10 each is a better title, isn't it? Guys, see you later.